and Brenda Finkbeiner with Reserved Seating Upholstery, and this tutorial is going to cover how to reupholster a restaurant booth seat. So in the previous video we showed you how to make a pattern. So we've made a pattern, we did a fit sample, and that worked. So now we have the reupholstered material. Before I remove the old material, it's always a good idea, strongly recommend, that you put the new material over and just make sure you do a quick fit test. So I can see this is going to be fine. But that's always a good idea to do, because maybe you measured wrong, or maybe it was sewn wrong, and if it's an inch or two off, that's going to make a big difference. So always make sure the new cover fits before you proceed. Okay, so we're ready to start removing the staples from this restaurant booth seat. Now you have several options for doing that. You could use just a blade and cut all the vinyl off. You could use staple pullers and go around and pull all the staples. Or frequently you'll do a combination of the two, and it's going to vary depending on a few scenarios. Personally, I do prefer to remove the staples. I think it's a much cleaner job, and you don't have old staples interfering with the new work that you're doing. In this case, with this booth seat, this wood happens to be really hard, and you're going to find that some wood, the staple is soft and the staples come out fairly easily, and other wood is a little more dense and the staples don't tend to come out as well. So you really need to have everything in your toolkit when you get on a job site and kind of determine what the best method to go. In terms of staple pullers, there's many different ones on the market. I'm going to say they range roughly from $10 to say $20 a piece. Here's a few of them. This one I happen to like quite a bit. I use this frequently. Here's another one. It has a couple pointed edges, and this one, I've never really gotten into using this one too much. And then there's also this one. I use this one frequently too. I kind of like this one because it has points at the end. Sometimes it's nice just to get the one of the pointed edges at the corner of a staple and kind of lift out the corner, and then it's easy to pull out. You're also going to need a pair of pliers when you're removing the old upholstery, and you'll want some safety glasses. Because sometimes, especially if the wood is hard, the staples will snap, and if something flies up, a piece of the staple, they don't all come out in one piece, I guess. So if a piece of staple flies up, you don't want that ending up in your eye, of course. If you do elect to cut the vinyl out, you are going to always want to go back to the corners, and you're going to want to remove all the staples in the corners, because that's where you really need to secure the new upholstery. When you put it down, you need to set all of your corners, and you want that wood in that area to be nice and clean so that you can get a nice good hold. So I'm going to go over here and start removing the staples from the corner, and you just really work the staple puller under, and you'll have to pull it out. Sometimes they come all the way out without the pliers, but pretty common that you're going to be using the pliers to pull these out. So a lot of times, like on this seat here, this would be a little bit easier to pull out, because this one, the vinyl is stapled inside of it. This one you can get the staple puller underneath. I would typically go down along the edge, pull all these up, lift all of them up, and then go back with the pliers, pull. So this one would be a little bit easier to do. This one, a little more challenging because of the way the booth seat's made. But as I said, you're going to run into many different scenarios when you're out in the field. So, best just to be prepared and have all the tools you can. See, this staple here just broke. So sometimes they break very close down to the edge of the wood, and in those cases I usually just take a hammer and kind of just pound it in so I don't have any sharp edges sticking up. So I'm going to continue to get this vinyl off of here, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to put the new vinyl on and how to secure it. Okay, so we're back. We've removed the staples, and some of this, as I mentioned, we took off with the blade, but we went back through and we did clean out all the vinyl, and we took out, you know, almost all the staples, particularly in the corners, as I mentioned. That's critical. So we want to get the old upholstery off. So, old upholstery is now off. Now, sometimes you'll see on the foam where there will be some damage on it, and you can do a couple things. If you know it's damaged beforehand, then you should prepare your estimate to include new foam. Other times, it might just be, sometimes if there's a rip, you know, people start digging stuff in and just damage part of the vinyl. You know, we've taken and just spray glued in some more foam just to make sure that, you know, any voids are filled. Now this particular booth seat has a definite front and back, meaning that the side panel is a little bit larger in the front. I don't know if that's detectable from your angle or not. I think you can probably see it from this angle. So this is a little bit wider, the back is a little bit narrower. So you are going to want to make sure that you apply it the right way. And I think this side, I think, is the front. So if you put it on and it seems like it doesn't fit real good, maybe have it reversed. So you'll be doing a lot of turning like this, turning it back and forth to make sure you have it right. And this looks pretty good to me. So next thing, I think we're ready to staple. So when you're stapling, you always want to start in the corners. You want to set all your corners, and then I usually turn it over, make sure I like it. You don't want to start out with too many staples, because frequently you'll go back and you'll remove what you've done and adjust it a little bit till you get it to where you like it. So you just, you know, you want to just do a couple staples just so you make sure you have it where you want it. Good thing to use are earplugs. You know, you do this 1 or 2 times. It's not a big deal. It doesn't bother you too much, but if you're going to be doing this repetitively, good idea to have earplugs. You are going to want to use a pneumatic stapler, and I only use stainless steel staples. They do cost more, but you're talking a few dollars more, and you know, when you're doing this for a living, you really should have the stainless steel staples. You're at a restaurant, people are spilling sodas, drinks, and you're going to find when you start taking off this vinyl, you're going to see rusted out staples, and you know, stainless steel is not going to rust. So highly recommend that you only use the stainless steel staples. So I'm going to start back here in the corner, and if you put your hand underneath and kind of bring the vinyl up, so I got a staple set there. I'm going to come up here, set my next one. You can turn it over, make sure you like where you're at so far. You want to look at it from the view that the customer is going to have, you know, and we'll be able to pull this down tighter. So that looks okay. Let's get the other side. threads here. Let me trim those. Put one in the center here. Let's flip it over again. See if we have it kind of where we like it. Yeah, I think we can smooth that out. So we have a good start. I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish securing the corners. And you'll need your staple pullers and your pliers because like this one didn't get down all the way, that staple. So I need to put another one in there. Usually on my corners, I kind of take them. You'll see when you're taking vinyl off that the corners are done differently. And you know, always just look kind of how they did it. I usually do kind of angle a staple in like this and then I pull the seam over because then I think I have a nice tight seam line there. Okay, so I'm liking the way my corners look, and so now I'm going to, I put a couple staples in the center here. When you staple these, you don't want to start here and come all the way down because then you'll have vinyl gain, and by that I mean when you get down to the end, you'll have a big bubble of vinyl. So you want to go to the center and wrap this around tightly, and then to this center, and then wrap that around tightly, and you keep working from the centers. Okay, so working on this back side, and you can see, I've kind of put a couple staples here, 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 and I can tell I'm going to have a pucker here, so I'm going to try to get that out. So again, I only didn't put a whole lot of staples in the corner, just kind of set them a little bit. So let me see if I can pull these out, and we'll see how we can smooth that out a bit. It's really common for that to happen. So as I said, that's why you don't want to go crazy with your folding staples. Oh yeah, see, now I can pull that like that and get a pretty good hold. And stuff that you're going to notice, your customer's not necessarily going to notice. I mean, it's a booth seat, it's going to be, this is going to, I'm not even sure if this is the back, I think, so they're really not going to notice that. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a demonstration on how you can kind of smooth that out, because that's definitely going to happen to you. So I think I have a little bit of a pucker down here, so I'll take care of that, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to finish it off. Alright, so I have half of it pretty much done, and then I'll show you the other half. So when you're taking the vinyl off, you're always sort of cognizant of how it went together before, and if that's the same way that you want to put it together again, or sometimes you have some better ideas as well. So in this case, there's a lot of cutting involved on this one because it's not a flat bottom like this. This one's a little easier, it just wraps over. This is going to have these, brace bars here and the other end pieces that I took off, etc. So on this one, what they actually did is they kind of cut these openings out right here. So we'll do that, trim that out along those braces. And then I'm just going to put a few staples there. And then what that's going to allow me to do, I'm trying to lift this up so you can see, is to fold these down and then staple these. I can do this left-handed. And again, I already have staples here, so I already have it, pulled as tight as I want. These are just to secure it further. So I'm going to go down, do the same thing here. And likewise at this end. Now I did save this corner, so I could do this corner for you and you get hopefully a little bit better view of what I did in the other areas. So you this one I think I can just pretty easily fold this under and put a holding staple right here. Now, let me try to pull that a little bit tighter. There. A couple of those staples didn't go in all the way, so let me reset that one. Okay. Other than adding a few more staples, along the inside here, just to make sure it's a little bit tighter, before putting it back in the booth seat, this is pretty much what we have. So I think it's a pretty good job. Certainly looks better than what we had before. And I think a customer would be pretty happy with the result of this. So anyway, if you have any other questions, feel free to email or call, and we'd be happy to help you. Thank you for watching.